Hi vinyl community, it's Maria. This is my contest entry for the Waxed 100 Subscribers contest, where we talk about our vinyl that is related to movies. So the first question, I'm going to show a soundtrack. And this is such a great soundtrack. Car Wash. The film came out in '76, and it won the 1977 Grammy for Best Score Soundtrack. Rose Royce does all the music. Now, the Pointer Sisters do sing on it, and they were in the film. There's some dialogue in here by, God, I just blanked. It's Richard Pryor. I don't know why I blanked on that. But the odd thing that I was playing this before the video. The odd thing is the way this is set up. This is record 1, side 4, and on this side, record 1, side 1. And then the other record is record 2, side 2, record 2, side 3. So I don't know why it goes 1, 4, 2, 3, but that's how it does. I love this soundtrack, and the movie's pretty funny, pretty good. A lot of stuff going on in that film. So check it out. So this is my soundtrack, Car Wash. So I might not be doing these in the right order, but an artist who had a sizable role in a film where they didn't play themselves. My first thought was Tom Waits. I wanted to show some of my Tom Waits albums. Because he has been in so many films. Coffee and Cigarettes. He was in The Outsiders and Rumblefish. He was also in Down by Law, of course. But I decided not to go with Tom Waits because I wanted to show off something that I found a couple of weeks ago that I actually didn't know existed till I found it. The Ethel Merman disco album. And as y'all know, I have a problem with lighting in here. So anyway, yeah, I got this for $10 at Book Nook. And she's doing a disco album, but she's doing it with songs that she had recorded. And she's like disco-fying them, I guess. Like, There's No Business Like Show Business. She was in the movie There's No Business Like Show Business. The song is actually from the stage production of Annie Get Your Gun. So, and she was also in, obviously, a lot of films. She was in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Her final film was a very small part in Airplane, and she didn't play herself. She played Lieutenant Hurwitz, who was so shell-shocked, he thought he was Ethel Merman, looked just like her, burst into singing There's No Business Like Show Business. So yeah, she's been in a lot of films where she was not playing herself. This album, like I said, I never knew it existed until I stumbled upon it. But she's also doing, well, a lot of her famous songs. Everything's Coming Up Roses, I Get a Kick Out of You, Something for the Boys, Alexander's Ragtime Band, but it's all disco and pretty cool. I feel like this was a really great find, so that's why I wanted to show this off instead of, diving into some of my Tom Waits stuff. So the next, they're also asking, show 2 or 3 songs that were featured in films. So this is Brian Ferry's album, Boys and Girls, and a handsome picture of him on the back cover. Wow. So his song, Slave to Love, was very appropriately featured in the film Bitter Moon, which is a Polanski film. It starred Emmanuelle Seigner, who he has been married to for decades. She's the mother of his children, and Peter Coyote. And the reason Slave to Love was such a, so the song was in the film. There's a New Year's Eve party. 2 of the characters are very provocatively dancing together. There's a storm. They're at sea. They're in a boat. The boat's tossing. And I don't think it's the Brian Ferry version of Slave to Love. I think the band playing in the film is actually doing Slave to Love. But if you watch this film, the subtitle of this film could be Slaves to Love. Bitter Moon, Slaves to Love. It was a very appropriate song to play at that point in the film. And there's another, they also used George Michael's Faith. I think that was a song. And it was a very good use of that song in the film. So if check out the movie, and so yeah, this is my Brian Ferry album with Slave to Love. And as a final note, I just want to say Peter Coyote wrote a really good memoir called Sleeping Where I Fall. Sleeping Where I Fall. And as a matter of fact, if you read this book, I think he might have mentioned maybe 1 or 2 times that he had an acting career. It's really more about his life as a communard and the pros and cons of that kind of lifestyle. And it's a darn good read. So check that out if you're interested in that, or Peter Coyote. So let's see. So another song that I remembered from a movie, like I've just begun to discover Warren Zevon, and I was going to make one of my playing catch up with Warren Zevon videos, but I realized I'm a purist, and this is the vinyl community, and so I'm only going to show my vinyl, and I have some of his stuff on cassettes. So, but what I did, so I do have the best of Warren Zevon, and I love his song, Lawyers, Guns, and Money, and it was featured in the movie Grand Canyon. But there are several other songs from, well, I mean, obviously it's the greatest hits album. So Poor, Poor, Pitiful Me was featured in the film FM. It was also featured in Freaks and Geeks. And they kept all the original music. It was really cool. But, and Werewolves of London, of course, has been featured in a lot of films. North Country, The Color of Money. So, yeah, Warren Zevon has had quite a few songs in films and on TV. So check that out. The last one, songs featured in a film. In Fast Times at Ridgemont High, there are 2 Go-Gos songs, and I so love the Go-Gos. We Got the Beat, and I'm really happy. I just picked this album up at the same time I picked this album up, which means now I have all 3 of the first 3 Go-Gos albums. So We Got the Beat was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and it's obviously on this album. The other song that is on the soundtrack to Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Speeding. So it was only released on that soundtrack until the 90s, when Return to the Valley of the Go-Gos came out, which was a greatest hit that was incredible. It included previously unreleased stuff. I think they were playing at a high school in like 1980 or 81. And then, stuff that, like Speeding, that had only been released on the Fast Times at Ridgemont High soundtrack. So, yeah, and I just wanted to show off that now I have the first 3 Go-Gos albums. Like I said, I picked this and Vacation up about a week or 2 ago at Wax and Facts, $5 each. I'm like, yay, I'll take these. And, so yeah, these are my several songs, and so check out the Wax. I enjoyed this contest. I'm gonna subscribe to the channel, as should you, and thanks for watching. See you next time.